everybody. Whoops. Hold on. Let me get my sound right. I'm so sorry. Greetings, all. How are you? I'll use AK's line. Greetings, all you fine people of Earth. All right. I hope really and truly, I do hope you're doing well. And I want to talk tonight a little bit about Brianna Kupfer. Now, last Thursday, this architectural student went to work like any other afternoon. She was working in a high-end furniture store, and that was part of her being an architectural student and what she was hoping to be able to do with the rest of her life. So here is an image of Brianna. The story is already taking the news by storm, right? It's been featured several times, and like I said, this only happened last Thursday. I believe, if I remember correctly, maybe sometime 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But she was working. Um, Expensive, nice furniture store as part of her interest in design and architecture. And when she was in the store, there was a man who came in. Now, Brianna was working by herself, which I guess, let's be realistic. In this day and age, that's kind of a, what would we say? Would we say that's a no? No, that's a huge um, something to be avoided, right? That if you're going to have somebody, especially a young woman, that you're going to want someone working with her, correct? I lost my other image. What did I do in my image? Let me see if I can get it here. Here's the image right here. So this is the guy that killed her. Now ask me how long it took to kill her. She's in the store by herself. She greets the guy when he walks in. She's got her phone and she sends a text message to a friend that says, "A guy just walked in here and I got bad vibes." Now, if you're a member of my channel, well, not a member, but if you're a subscriber to my channel, you've been around for a while, then you know, I often talk about that little tiny voice that we have inside, right? That's him right there. I often talk about that little voice, and that there's been research, that people that tended to listen to that little voice that sort of says, "Hey, don't take your trash out in the dark. Take it out in the morning with the light." Right? That little voice. Some nights you can go out there and leave your trash, never bothers you. But maybe one night out of 300, this little voice just says, "Don't go out there." Some of us go, "Okay, gonna listen, no problem." And others of us go, "Oh, this is just so silly. Why am I feeling this way?" And then you go out there and there's a bad guy. He hurts you. So there's been research in this. And yeah, that little voice is real. And there have been books written about people who chose to listen or not, and the implications that it can have. So it's notable for me that Brianna felt it. She felt something, right? I often wondered if Shanann Ruchek felt something, if she just kind of knew, right? Maybe not exactly what was going to happen, but she just knew that something was bad wrong before she walked in that door. So Brianna looks up. She sees this guy come in. He's a big guy, 6'2", 190, and she sends this text message to her friend. It says, "This guy came in. I got a bad vibe. Within 15 minutes, another customer walked in the store and found her lifeless body. 15 minutes. Right? Now there is video. Let me see if I can find it. Where did it go? I had all this laid out. Here it is. Okay, so it's the one that says liberal. Okay, let me share this other. Share screen. Okay. Now, the father of Brianna, Mr. Kupfer, he went on Fox News to talk about what happened to his daughter. It is heartbreaking. It is truly heartbreaking. The man is in anguish. He's got some of the telltale signs, he's already at that point in his grief that he wished that something positive could come out of this, and I think that's fairly common for people that lose someone important. They want to make some kind of gesture that would create a memory, for their loved one. And so he's hoping that something will come of it. But and it's a good interview to go watch if you're interested. I know people act stupid about news stations and whatnot, but this particular interview, it's worth it to hear what he has to say. So Brianna gets stabbed. 15 minutes later, a customer comes in the store and finds her lifeless body, immediately calls 911. When they arrive, the medics, she's gone. I mean, they gave it a good faith effort, but they knew she was gone when they arrived. But what I'm about to show you from Fox News is security camera of the animal that did this to Brianna. Less than 30 minutes, couple of blocks after he killed her. And the reason they know that is because they know when she sent the text message to the friend that said, someone is in the store and I got a bad vibe. From the moment that Brianna sent that message, 15 minutes, someone was in the store, she was dead. And within another 15 minutes, this animal shows up on a security camera in another store about 2 blocks away.
The neighborhood, entering several stores before going into the shop where Brianna was working by herself at night. About half an hour later, this surveillance video showed him calmly
getting him a pack of smokes
at a nearby 7-Eleven about 4 miles from the crime scene. Smith has a long and extensive rap sheet for dozens
now, what
of
you're
crimes
seeing
in 3
coming
different
across
states.
the screen there
what you're seeing
is the last 10 years for this
taken
guy.
over a period
and
of 10 years.
He has,
so at the
I
time of
believe,
Brianna's murder, he was free on $1,000 bond.
mugshots.
The reward for information leading to a...
There you go. 12 mugshots in 10 years. 12. That's more than one per year. Oh, well, Jules, maybe it's just maybe it was just, harmless crimes. Like peeping in a window. Peeping in a window is a harmless crime? Really? What if it's your 12-year-old daughter that he's staring at? Actually, no. It wasn't creeping and peeking into a window. It was things like attacking a police officer. Plenty of armed and dangerous charges. This guy is armed and dangerous. This is a very bad guy. Rape, assault, so many assault and battery. And you say, "Oh, well, I know he must have escaped from jail, right?" A guy like this who's so out of control that he's trying to shoot a police officer, a guy like that for sure is in jail. Like, don't they give police killers the death penalty? He's armed and dangerous. They know that. He's got weapons charges, illegal weapons charges, and he's out walking the street. He's all over the southern United States and California. He's everywhere. 12 arrests in 10 years, and he's not in jail. Imagine that. And these are not like, "Oh, yeah, I just had a half ounce of marijuana." Ha. No, no. So you got a young girl who's knocking the top out of her grades, going to college, doing an absolute great job. She's working, she's on her way to having a future. And this nasty, filthy animal, for whatever reason, and I'll guarantee you, it was driven by race. I'll guarantee you that it was. That's what I think it's going to turn out being about. Now, will they ever tell us? Probably not. But he was hunting. He was hunting for someone to get. He went in there knowing who it was he was going to get. So within 15 minutes, he managed to destroy the civil rights of Brianna and her family. All because some politician somewhere decided it wasn't fair to lock up a criminal. It's not fair. And it's not enough that it's not fair to lock them up, but also, we have to let them vote. We got to be sure to let the criminals vote. Now they're pushing that just being in the United States makes you a citizen of sorts. And so even if you're in the United States illegal, according to Joe Biden, we're going to fight to let illegals have a vote in our political elections. Why? For more of this? Now, there is no doubt that there will be people that will say, "Oh, you're a crazy MAGA person," which I'm not. You're going to have people that come in and say, "Oh, you're racist." No, I'm not. In fact, I've got friends that are furious about this. And they say, you know, if he was a white guy and he had 12 mugshots in 10 years, he would have been locked up. And those friends of mine that said that, a man and woman, are African American. They have beautiful kids. They're living in the suburbs. They have a great life, and they're angry when things like this happen because it puts their kids in danger. It puts all of us in danger. It's wrong. Now, the guy that did this, I don't even want to give you his name, right? Because I think he's just an animal, and he ought to have a collar around his neck and chained down, locked down, so that he can't hurt another kid, right? So, but he's 31 years old, and he's got all kinds of charges, armed and dangerous, highly likely to be using public transportation was in the alert video. Um, and I'm not he was buying like a vape pen in the video that we were watching. But the LA police chief said this individual responsible for this vicious, senseless, and brutal crime is walking among us every day. Meaning they knew he was dangerous. He's got a criminal record that is charges for gun crimes, illegal guns. He had an attack on a police officer. Um, he's had horrible charges that for some reason prosecutors failed to press charges, and the police had no recourse but to let him go. So right now, well, no. At the time of this crime last Thursday, he was out on a $50,000 bond from South Carolina. He was over in California, which were against the conditions of release. The reason that he was out, or why had he been arrested? In November 2019, he had been arrested for firing a weapon inside of an occupied vehicle. And when he fired that weapon, it hurt a kid that was in the car with him at the time. He's a bad guy. He's just the cops have said this was a random act of violence. He wanted to hurt someone, he picked out his victim, and he calmly walked in the door. They have video of him leaving the store. He's just calm. He's taking slow, measured steps, walks in, buys them a vape pen, walks out, doesn't care. He's just as calm as he can be. So the dad, in his interview with Fox News, the dad he's grieving. He's in a great deal of emotional pain, but he's saying, what we do has consequences. And when the battle becomes to get all the criminals out of jail, then you do have to ask yourself, where are they going to live? Like these people that are angry and violent and sociopathic, if we're going to release them from jail, where will we put them so that we will continue to have some safe neighborhoods for the rest of us, for the normal people? Where will we live? Where will our kids go to school? We had a couple of kids this afternoon in Houston. Um, there was a road rage incident, although I'm a little skeptical of that. They claim it was a road rage incident, but then I have a hard time understanding um why we ended up having 3 kids in a car where there were like 22 shots fired. Right? That sounds like much more than a road rage incident. We had a young woman who walks outside, she's taking her little dog for a walk, and within, minutes, her mother hears gunshot and gunfire, and she wonders, "Oh my god, where's my 15-year-old daughter?" And when they go outside, they see the 15-year-old lying on the ground on her back, and she's dead. Killed by her 17-year-old boyfriend who emptied 22 bullets into her body. Happened about 40 miles from where I am right now. You can't check the Houston news in the mornings. It's like living in Chicago. Literally, it's like living in Chicago. The number of shootings is incredible. Here's the story. Diamond Alvarez is the 15-year-old girl that was killed if you want to look the story up. The 17-year-old boyfriend's name was Frank DeLeon Jr. They said that when the cops arrived, they believed that he had told her to lie down on the ground, and once she was lying down on her back looking up, he emptied 22 bullets into her. Some of the bullets were hit the concrete around her straight down. It's incredible. And he's out on bail. He's out on bail. Mother stabbed to death by a sword. Who was holding the sword? Her son. Her son. Here's a story coming out of New Jersey. A mom and a child dead, found in a vehicle that was floating in a pond in New Jersey. We got state police right now searching a wooded area in Rockland, looking for a missing woman. This is in Massachusetts. They're looking for a woman named Brittany McCormick. She went missing last year. I mean, this is shocking what's happening in our country. And you think, "Oh, well, what's the story? Like, is crime spreading? Is that what it is? There's more criminals? There lots of people are choosing to be criminals, right? Wrong. You got criminals, bad criminals, criminals that in 10 years racked up 12 mugshots, and they're walking around on the street among us. Think about that. We have to draw a line, you know? We all want I listened to something, oh my god, it was so good. It was on what I don't even remember the channel. I'll find it and put it in the community tab. This man was talking about the whole cancel culture, right? That if you like the YouTuber in the beauty community, she was from Puerto Rico, young woman. And when she graduated high school, she said she was going to give herself 1 year to try to make a living with beauty or makeup or something like that. She went several different routes. She tried getting a job at a makeup store, all that. And then ultimately she ended up making a video, uploaded it on YouTube, and it took off, right? People really liked her. And so she built a beauty channel around the eye of the beauty community thing, trying different products and different techniques and all that. Very successful, doing great until it came out that she was a conservative. When they found out that she didn't like some of the more liberal political ideas, they all ran around and began canceling her, right? "Oh, I can't watch you anymore. I always used to enjoy you, but now I just can't. You're a horrible person." And you know what they did to her? Sounds like one of the YouTubers in our true crime community. They all called Sephora. Sephora was sponsoring this girl. That's how successful her channel was, right? The left liberal people on YouTube, they all got on the phone and started calling Sephora and said, "Oh, we're not shopping at Sephora anymore because you have a conservative beauty commentator that you're sponsoring." And she said within a day, within 24 hours, Sephora had sent her a letter and said, "You're not a good fit for us and we're done." And they dropped her. They dropped her. So this channel that rolled up that I was listening to, they asked the question, are we in an abusive relationship? Talking about culturally, right? The cancel culture. Are we in an abusive relationship? And so he goes through these 15 domains or behaviors that are associated with domestic violence, domestic abuse. Literally every single domain was fulfilled by the new liberal kind of attack and shame and punish. It used to be that people were very sophisticated with psychology and they understood about positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement and punishment. They knew the difference between the three and which one was the best for certain types of situations. But people aren't like that anymore. People don't care. You know where we're at now after all these decades of people saying, you know what, don't hit your kid. Don't raise your babies teaching them to be violent. Don't do that. Now we've got a culture that doesn't know what it's like to be abused. They never experienced it, and therefore there's no empathy. There's no empathy. So when they call Sephora on this little 20-year-old girl and they say, we're dropping you, we're not shopping there anymore because you've got somebody on YouTube putting makeup on, but she votes like we don't want her to vote. She actually did not vote for Donald Trump. That wasn't who she liked. But that's what they said when they called Sephora. It was abusive to do that to the girl. But when they did it and Sephora dropped her, they celebrated. They were so happy. For what? You just ruined the life of a young woman who didn't hurt anyone. Incidentally, it's this same uber liberal mentality that's saying, no, 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 don't lock up the criminals. It's so unfair. It's so unfair that if you've got lots of money, you get to make bail and leave jail. But if you're poor and you're a criminal, you don't get to make bail. And that's not right. That's not right. Really? Because I jumped up and down all different ways of Sunday when they let Barry Morphew walk on $500,000. Y'all remember that? That man should not be out anywhere with his temperament and skills that he has. So this isn't about me saying, oh, I'm saying this because this guy is African American, or I'm being a MAGA crazy person, or no, I'm not. This guy could have killed anybody's little girl. Anybody. I'm an equal opportunity hater when it comes to criminals. I don't care what you look like. You go around killing people or making people disappear, you are not fit to be in society with the normal people, in my opinion. Right? Okay. So the story of Brianna is heartbreaking at best. Um, it's such here's the sad part. It's such a terrible loss, um, because she was making steps to her future. She's one of those kids that she wanted a good life. She wanted the life, right? And she was willing to work to do it. Um, and this nasty bastard just walked in and took her civil rights from her. She's entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness just by right of birth. She's entitled to life. So the next time that I hear these people going on and on and on about how it's so unfair for a criminal not to be able to make bail, is so unfair. The next time I hear that, I'm going to say, Brianna Kupfer, don't forget her. She'd be alive today. Her crime was to go to work yesterday afternoon. That's all she did. She went to work. She's sitting there. He walked in and he executed her. He stole from her right to life. And then he walked out of the door as calm as could be, went down 2 blocks, and went in and bought a vape pen without ever missing a beat. Do we need to build more prisons? I don't know, but if that's what the authorities say, then I'm behind it 100%. Build the damn things. As long as someone like this guy, 12 mugshots in 10 years? Let me take a guess here. He didn't care that he was breaking the law. He didn't care. And right now in Houston, Texas, I can give you 100 more of people just like this, riding around waiting for some car to shoot at, or somebody to road rage, or some woman to be beat up and killed. Promise you. Watch the news tomorrow morning in Houston, Texas. It's not even the weekend. We don't even have to wait for the weekend anymore. It's like the Wild West. Southwest Houston, stay away. It's going to end up being just like New Orleans. They're going to go in there, they're going to put up an 18-foot chain link fence around the whole Southwest Houston and just let them stand there and kill each other, I guess. I don't know. We have to say enough is enough. And Lena Hidalgo, Little Miss Queen in Houston, is directly responsible that her prosecutors are refusing to put guys just like this one. She is refusing to hold them and take them to trial. She is refusing. And the word is out. All you got to do, if you're a criminal, all you got to do is tell your lawyer, nope, I'm not making a deal, not pleading not guilty. I'm not pleading guilty. I'm going to trial because the prosecutors are not bringing them to court. And then the cops don't have a choice. They have to let them go. There's literally nothing they can do. Nothing they can do. It's horrible. It's really horrible. One of our doctors came in today. He said, "Oh my gosh, let me tell y'all the story. His son got carjacked. Literally, the man's going to work. He's an executive at a company you would recognize the name. He pulls up at a red light in Houston, Texas at the medical center, and they drag him out of his car and drive off with his car. And everybody's like, "Oh my God, what did you do?" He said, "I gave him my car. I took the truck." Now, how is that? The cops can't do anything. Well, they'll look at video if they happen to get lucky and get video. Then they're going to bring them in. The cops are going to find them. They're going to bring them in if they don't shoot at them, right? There could be a shooting. Bring them in. Then they're going to go before the stupid judges. And the judges are going to say, okay, well, $10,000 bond or public recognizance, show up at this date. And then they don't ever show up. They're just right back out there doing it again. I can't tell you how many of them who have shot and killed each other, and they should have been locked up in jail. I'm angry about this young lady. This was a terrible loss. It was a terrible loss to lose her. She was brilliant. She was in school, she was in UCLA to become an architect. That's why she was working at that store. It's wrong. You, the liberals that fight for these lenient criminal policies, they'll say, "Oh, well, you're violating someone's rights to lock them up in jail. That's violating their rights." Well, what about her rights? What about her right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? Didn't he violate her right to finish college, get married if she wanted to? Didn't he violate her rights? And will this be a hate crime? I want to know, is this going to end up being a hate crime? The other day, the guy in Dallas that held the synagogue for so long, he was from Great Britain. He came over here intentionally to do just what he did, right? The mainstream media refused. The police, the chief of police in Dallas said, "We have no reason to believe that this was a hate crime against the Jewish people." Oh, really? Is that right? You got a jihadi who gets on an airplane and flies to Houston, Texas with the intent of getting Hafiz Siddiqui out of jail. He goes into a synagogue and he takes the rabbi and four parishioners hostage. And you don't have any reason to believe that this might be related to religion or to genetics? Please. Okay. So every time I do one of these lives where I am indignant about something that one of our officials has done, right? That I disagree with, there will be people that will say, "Oh, she's unhinged. Oh, she's crazy. Oh, she's a bad person. Oh, she's ranting and raving," right? They all say the same thing. But my response to you is, why aren't you indignant? Like, what's going on with your level of comprehension for this situation that you feel like this young woman was not entitled to complete her life? It can't be just me because we've all got children, and every single one of us will say the main, most important thing in our lives are for our children to grow up happy and healthy and successful or safe, right? We all want the same thing. We just want our kids, our families to be okay. That's all we really, really want at the end of the day. Well, this young woman, she had a mom and dad that adored her. She had lots of brothers and sisters that love her. She was living the life. She was making good grades. She was doing everything she was supposed to do. And that animal walked in the store, and within 15 minutes, she was no longer with us. And now you're going to preach about whether it's cruel to deny somebody their civil rights by locking them up in jail. 12 mugshots in less than 10 years. We got to start paying attention to what we're doing. When we vote in our local elections, they matter, especially a place like Houston, right? Because it's so big. We got to start being careful, y'all. We do. We need to. We got to move away from being an ideologue and saying, "Ooh, yeah, rah rah, I'm on the team." Right? Rah rah, I'm on the MAGA team. Rah rah, I'm on the progressive team. Quit. Don't do that. Take a minute and say, "Wait a minute. What does this person think about crime in our culture? Where does this person stand on, sentencing laws?" We've got to do that. We really do. We really do. I think there's one area that we can all agree on, and that is we got to have some we got to have some opportunities for a place to live that we're not going to be living next door to a murderer. Right? That was one of the reasons that I was so angry about Barry Morphew is I was thinking about the like Jean and her husband, those people living out there on Monarch Mountain. This man that they basically helped lock up, they're going to let him come live out there among you. And yeah, you're innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, but you got a $500,000 bond. That tells me there's some pretty good suspicion going on, right? We do. People want to talk about the rights of the criminals. What about the regular, normal people that are just paying taxes, going to work, and trying to live their life? What do we not get a right? It's our right to live in a safe neighborhood. Now, here's what they do, and this is where they'll get you. Bill Clinton, when he decided to run for president first time, he sent one of his people into Harlem in New York, and opened up, found an old dilapidated building. I know, I went there. Old dilapidated building, looked bad, run down, gang members standing around on the streets. It's a pretty rough area, right? We the area where they don't send the tours in at night, the bus tours. Don't go there at night, right? You can go there during the day, but not at night. Went in, got this dilapidated building, took a floor, just gutted it, made it super duper nice, really, really beautiful, new elevator, the whole 9 yards. Gave people jobs, there's office manager, receptionist, people were working there, whatnot, for campaigning. When I was there, they said they had seen him twice. And he lived 2 hours down the road, and that was supposed to be his office. Now, why did he do that? Well, because the reality of where he lived was that he was on like a 14-acre estate, right? He's got another place in Little Rock that's right on the river, that's got these 22-foot tall planks, border all the way around it. So if he wants to live in a safe neighborhood for his daughter, Chelsea, he just goes and buys a multi-million-dollar property. But me and you, we can't do that, can we? We don't have the ability to go and buy a big fancy, place in a really expensive neighborhood or lots of land around us. We can't do that. Most people can't. And so if they're not going to lock these criminals up, if they're not going to put them in jail, where are they going to put them? In the apartment next to you? Yeah? You saw the picture of that guy. Would you like him sitting at the bus stop watching your children get off the bus every day? We really got to do better, y'all. We really got to do better. I don't want to make my channel about politics and voting, and I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. I don't have a political affiliation. I have political topics that matter to me. Education matters to me. It's really, really important to me. Crime hasn't really been a big deal for me. I traditionally haven't seen the landscape change when you'd get a new president or new governor. The only example that comes to mind really was New York, right? That one was a big turnaround. But I'm telling you, at this point now, after seeing what is going on in Houston, I mean, all of my inner circle we've been amazed reading the newspaper every morning. I mean, we've, standing around the coffee pot when you first get in and you're in the big kitchen and everybody's getting coffee or whatever for the day. People are just, they got the newspaper and it's like, oh my God, how do you have 7 people shot? 7 people shot, 5 of them die. How does that happen? Right? We are in serious trouble, Callie. It is getting to a point now. I'm telling you, those people that live in Southwest Houston, it is not safe for them to walk out of their. And let me tell you this: it's not only is it not safe for them to walk out in the front yard. How do I say this? Because I got to be careful. I know of a story. There was a story in the newspaper of a kid, I don't know, like 5, 6 years old, sitting in the house in his bedroom. And the gang members were outside on the street. And when they shot 2 bullets, and one of them went into the house, the other one lodged in the brick of the house, went into the house and shot this little fella sitting in front of his TV playing video game. So now these families talk about how when it starts to get nighttime, they all go to the very back of the house. So at least if they start shooting, there won't be anybody in the front rooms. Now, how about that? What about those people's civil rights? Do they have a right to be able to live in the house that they rent or buy? Do they have a right to believe that you should be able to sit in your bedroom and not get shot? Right? And where will those people go if they decide they don't want to be there anymore? You know as well as I do, they don't want to live there. With all that going on, no, that's silly. But where will they go? Because you look at all the surrounding areas and they're priced out. They can't get into those neighborhoods. It's too expensive. So where will they go? Why don't they have the freedom that these criminals do? That's right? Here's another thing I don't understand. I don't understand why we have all of these mandates that we have to get vaccinated. I'm vaccinated. Don't freak out. I'm vaccinated. I'm boosted. I'm ready to go, right? But where I draw the line is my body, my choice. And I mean that all the way around. So what happened to my body, my choice when they started saying you have to be vaccinated if you want to work? That's the government telling you what to do medically. That's shocking for somebody my age. That is so intrusive and unconstitutional. I can't even wrap my head around it. And yet we're doing it, right? But it's okay if people, I mean, we're having 100,000 people come over the border from Mexico into Texas, 100,000 people a month, and 80% of them have COVID. But we're not vaccinating them. Did y'all know that? Wouldn't you think that the US government would be lined up down there at the border, giving them vaccinations as they walk across the border? Wouldn't you think? Right? No, nope. What they can do is if they can fire you if you're a nurse or a doctor or a respiratory therapist if you refuse to get the jab. But if you're illegal walking across the border, we're going to put you on an airplane and fly you to Wisconsin and let you out. Say good luck. I don't know who's making the decisions. That's my point. It's confusing to me. This Texas abortion thing is the crazy. Oh my God. The most people haven't taken time to understand what it actually is, right? So it's not illegal to get an abortion. It's not really even illegal to give the abortion. But what is illegal is to educate someone on how to get the abortion. If you make an appointment to get for someone to get an abortion, that's illegal, punishable by $10,000 in a year in jail. And the person that calls to tell on you, they get $10,000 in their pocket. So what are we going to do now? Because now people that you used to have barbecues with, now they're spying on you because they want to make some extra spending money. We're really heading in a bad direction culturally, in my opinion. And I know there's other people going to think differently than I do. I get it. But this thing with the whole, soft on crime and lenient sentences, and I know that people have empathy and they want to give criminals an opportunity to turn things around and do better. But just taking a person that's accused of a violent crime and putting them back out on the street, I don't think that's rehabilitation. Especially a guy that's been arrested 12 times in 10 years. You really think he has an interest in rehabilitating his life? You really think on the 13th mugshot he's going to go, okay, I've lived my whole life as a criminal, I don't think I want to be a criminal anymore? No, they just get worse and worse and worse. So this is one button issue that we may need to pay attention to, because we did the experiment, right? We did the experiment. We gave it a try. All kinds of services in the prisons, all kinds of work release programs to try to help people enter mainstream media. There have been some success stories, but 12 mugshots in 10 years. Does anyone else think that that is excessive? We got to do better. This young woman was denied her civil rights, the right to life, the pursuit of happiness. She was denied that by someone that should have been locked up. He should not have been living next door to normal people. You know what I mean? All right. Okay. I feel like whoever is making the decision is intentionally sabotaging the country. Makes no sense that hundreds of thousands coming in southern border and nearly none crossing from Canada. Yeah, I I don't know. Oh, Yvette says, "Come on, Jules, 13th this time is the charm, right?" I mean, maybe that's what they were waiting on, Yvette. Maybe they know something that I don't know, right? Yeah. Paid snitches. I don't know. I just know, hey, James Pooh, I just know that looking at the morning newspaper and looking at the shootings and the stabbings and the rapes, and this is not working in Houston. This is not working. We also know it's not working in Chicago. How many people have heard about New York, and people are walking out of these multi-million dollar apartments because it's just too damn dangerous to be on Manhattan Island anymore, right? USA, if you book a cruise, we cannot get off at ports in the other Caribbean country islands, even fully vaccinated. They won't allow America cruise ships off at ports of call. Why? Is it because of COVID? Wow. Did you ever think you'd see the day? It's crazy in Charlotte, North Carolina. Y'all are having a lot of violent crime. COVID. Wow. God. It's a lot in Houston. Last night found 3 teenagers deceased in a house. Good God. I bet they got their hands on some fentanyl, didn't they? Oh God, here we go. What class is this? You just remind me of my ma. I couldn't even do the pig in biology. I learned gravy over fries from Canada. I don't blame them. Why doesn't he have blood all over him if he just stabbed someone? I can't wait to retire. Everything that's happening is unconstitutional. It has to stop soon. Yeah, I don't know, and I don't I just can't even think about the whole COVID thing because I remember when I got my first vaccination. I felt really good, right? I felt really good. Um I felt really good and I felt like that I by getting the vaccination, my life was getting a step closer back to normal, right? And I went in stores and stuff without a mask on, and it felt really good to be able to smile at people, when I walk by them and whatnot. Um, Now this Omicron thing is here, and first of all, it's got it is virulent. It is easily passed from one person to the next. But it's not particularly deadly. I mean, it's not even remotely deadly. It's actually less deadly than the flu. Um, Many of the doctors of infectious diseases are saying it's more in line with the cold, a little bit worse than the cold. Um, and those same infections doctors will say that with each iteration of a virus, it gets weaker and weaker because the virus wants to survive. And so those viruses that are really, really deadly, they don't give the host time to spread it to another host. So eventually the most deadly virus, it dies out. And what's left are the weak viruses that didn't make people very sick, right? So even though we got a lot of people that have caught it, it's still a much weaker bug than Delta or SARS-CoV-2. Um, but what I can't wrap my head around is now we have people we have just we're looking at a test, a COVID test that is only 58% right. Okay, so if they give the COVID test 100 times, all people that are positive with COVID, only 58% will be properly identified. Y'all didn't know that, did you? So, number one, you've got a test that they're giving to people that's only half right. You're throwing a quarter up in the air, calling heads or tails, basically. So the net result is we got a whole bunch of people walking around saying, "Well, I have asymptomatic COVID." Are you sure? Maybe you have a false positive. Maybe you're not really walking around with COVID, but you were given a test that said you were positive when really you weren't. And then you have a big group of people who are really sick. Like they're really sick and they get a COVID test and it comes out negative. Oh no, you don't have COVID. You have a COVID like flu. Well, aren't all flus like COVID? But realistically you probably do have COVID, especially if you develop pneumonia, right? So so at this point now in New Zealand, let me tell you this. New Zealand is working really hard. I'm talking about like the equivalent of their FDA. They're working really hard to try to get an understanding of where we are in this whole thing between how well the vaccinations are working, um, w- doing better with testing, and is it really worth it to vaccinate everyone, or are the side effects of the vaccination too big in comparison to the sickness itself, right? And New Zealand is in a really good position to do that testing. They're small, they'd be considered a small sample, and they don't have any borders. To get on the island, you pretty much got to be on a boat and pull up to the dock, or a helicopter, right? So they can really control knowing who enters the island and leaves, and they can get a pretty good picture of things. So they're trying to do that right now, but there's a lot of politicians that are angry about it, and all that. But so I don't take a position on COVID. Um I just do the right thing. I'm really devoted. I keep my hands washed, right? I keep my hands washed. I never touch my face, and I don't wear uh my shoes into my house. Take my shoes off outside, spray them with Lysol. So, I just I don't know about COVID. I can't get a handle on it. I just don't understand how it can be, and I don't understand this. Why do they say that the vaccinated man that died of COVID, that it was because of his unvaccinated friends? Why you say that? What he was vaccinated. You said the vaccination worked. Shouldn't he be protected? How does that work? So there's a lot of questions that I think a lot of people don't have the answers to. And they're all, there's going to be people that are going to come in here and they're going to say, "Oh, you're just a crazy right-wing person." Well, actually I'm not. Um no, I think these are just questions that if you're intelligent, you're really legitimately just saying, "Can you explain this to me?" Because how does it work? Like, we're like at 80% vaccinated, and yet we have enormous numbers of infected people. That doesn't work that way. That's not the way vaccinations work until now, right? Now they got the flu vid. There you go, Kathy. Took 6 weeks to come back. I have no idea if anyone has died from the new one. My belief is that we just have to accept that COVID is here to stay. Now we need to live our best lives, be mindful of germs, and be happy. I'm in agreement with that, Yvette. I think that is the general consensus among the physicians that I know. Um, it's here. It's here now. Like the common cold is here, the yearly flu is here, shingles, that now it's here, and we do the best we can. So I guess that is where we are. The issues are long hauler syndrome, post COVID, percentage do what you need, long hauler syndrome. I don't know what long hauler syndrome is, Teresa. What is that? Thank you, Rochelle. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of your support. Really do. Germany was uber strict with COVID regulations, and they're all still all getting it. Well, I will tell you this. I remembered probably 20 years ago, I got the flu. I remember it because, boy, I was sick, right? It was horrible. I was so sick and just coughing and coughing and coughing. Ended up getting put into the hospital with pneumonia. Did not get put on a ventilator. But I had round the clock breathing treatments, did everything, and got well. And but I remembered it because it was awful. And I was like, I'm going to get my vaccination every year. I'm going to get my flu vaccination because I never want to go through that again. Right. Well, I also caught COVID. And in the first week, I felt terrible. I had a bad headache, aches and pains, that kind of thing. The second week was, yeah, it was bad. I had lots of coughing, a lot of chest congestion and all that. But I kicked it, you know. I don't know if it's hindsight or what, but I got to tell you, I think the bout with the flu, I think that was much harder than what this was. So, and I got another lady, same time as me. When I got back to work from being sick, I was told, hey, two more of your team tested positive. And I was like, oh my God, I hope to God I didn't take it and give it to them. But anyway, she was pretty sick. But then we had another one that tested positive that was asymptomatic. And no one in her family got it. There's your clue. No one in her family caught it. Highly virulent, and no one got it. The other lady that tested positive and she was sick, her husband and both sons ended up catching it. So I'm not all convinced that the tests are actually picking up a good number on the tests. I wonder if your immune issues are long haul related. Long term organ damage, fatigue, oxygen needs, chronic pain, fatigue. Oh, okay. And they're relating that to COVID? People are intentionally trying to get it? That's dumb. That's so dumb. Yeah, so that was the thing, Sketty Nona. The first week, the horrible, horrible headache and feeling like I'd been like in a car wreck, like really sore. Everything just sore, right? Um, and then 7, 8 days later, um, that was all the infection from the lungs, and that was horrible for about a week or so. Maybe a little longer than that. But I did not know that Critters was still, because Critters had it like even a month or so before I got it. She's been sick a long time. It's not the unvaccinated that are getting it. That's a lie. It's the vaccinated. Well, that's what we saw. Um, so I'm on a couple of different, I go to a couple of different hospitals in Houston at the medical center. Um, a lot of those patients are vaccinated. And that's a little disconcerting, right? But then you got to remember this, 80% of the population is vaccinated. So just by numbers, by lottery, technically, your sample should match your population. So if 80% are vaccinated in the larger population, then you would consider 80% of COVID patients would also be vaccinated if we're following good statistics. But they're not the control group. You would say that they are your experimental group, right? And you should have less than population rate. So you should have like 80% of the population are are uh, are vaccinated against COVID. Therefore, any of your hospitalizations should be 6% if the vaccination is working. So it's very hard. It's Oh my God, there's so much hate trying to parse it out, just not to say one way or the other is right or wrong, but just to ask these questions and say, where are we in this understanding, right? How is this possible that there are so many that are asymptomatic positive? How many that of the vaccinated end up on ventilators? So there's lots of question about it. And but they won't let you talk about it. You get called horrible names and they attack you, and it turns into a mess. Monoclonal antibodies worked wonders for me. Yeah, the monoclonal antibodies, but now they don't have enough of the treatment. We had a big one of our big hospitals, they got 6 batches. 6. For how many people? Oh my god, Callie. I'm so sorry. That would be hell. There you go, Yvette. And it's strange things like that, right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It seems there's some strange things right now. That's all. Yeah, what is a low inflammatory diet? Oh, I'm sorry, Karen. If the vaccine works, why would you need more shots? Well, and there's research just released out of Israel this week where they took 120, I believe they had 121 people that they gave the fourth booster. They're given boosters every 6 months. Fourth booster, e- everybody got sick. Wow, Teresa, I am so sorry. That is so sad. Teresa said she had 2 family members pass away with COVID. So sorry. You want to fly to Illinois? Yvette said low inflammatory diet. Well, that will be boring food. You you're probably right. It probably would be. Stay off of sugar, white flour, and processed foods. Basically everything you like, right? Some really strange Stalin? I don't know what that means. Everyone should work on their immune system with a healthy diet. Vitamin D is critical in this thing. The research is consistent. Everybody needs to be taking vitamin D. Had y'all heard that? The vitamin D is absolutely critical for to stop us so that the cytokine storm doesn't happen in the pulmonary system. Yeah, Plaquenil. Is it Plaquenil? Is that right, Diane? Isn't that the same thing? It's a rheumatoid arthritis drug. Yeah, vitamin D. Jackie Hughes, Jackie Hughes, welcome, my friend. Oh, maybe it's oh, maybe it. No, I thought Plaquenil was for rheumatoid arthritis. They're doing they. That's a malaria drug too. I can see all the I can see all the rheumatoid arthritis patients selling their medicine on the black market, right? It's so silly. It's so damn silly. But anyway, so Macron, the president in France, he actually said during a press conference that he basically was going to create an environment of intense shame and humiliation for people that refuse to get the vaccination. That's abuse. That's like being in a relationship with an abusive boyfriend. We're in a weird place right now. A very weird place. 64% are fully vaccinated, 75% have had one shot. One shot is not fully vaccinated. I am fully vaccinated and I had a booster in March. I have not had COVID, thankfully. That's one very good. True sets free. I am boosted. I had both of the Moderna vaccinations and boosted, and I did get it. So, but I also work in multiple hospitals, which is a high um, incident environment, right? I'm crazy about keeping my hands clean. Like it's in my head constantly when I'm at work. So it is very strange that I managed to get it. And it's very strange. The other lady that got it, I had given her a gift, and I keep thinking about that, and I keep thinking that's how she got it. It was on the gift. I didn't know that I was sick when I gave her the gift, obviously. Cancel culture to the extreme. I don't have low E windows, so I sun myself all winter long in the floor to ceiling windows that are for passing heat gain. It heated the house up above 7 degrees today, and it was 6 degrees outside. Ooh, you have a well insulated home, Skinny Nona. Yep. All right. So, yeah, I wanted to do the story about this young woman and what happened to her, and that her father has, gone on the record. He's interviewed, and he's on the record that his daughter was sacrificed for political gain. Brianna Kupfer, that she was murdered by a man with 12 mugshots in 10 years. There's no excuse. He should have been behind bars. He should have been behind bars. I mean, yet in 2020, he was arrested, and prosecutors just said, "No, we're not going to press charges." He had 12 mugshots, and they said, "No, we won't." He was out on a $50,000 bond in South Carolina when he was arrested in 2020, and the prosecutor said, "We're not going to press charges." He was violating his bond. And the prosecutor said, "Let him go." Why? Do you think anyone is going to go to that prosecutor and demand an explanation? Who believes he will? Who believes that they'll go and say, "Hey, this guy was released on a $50,000 bail. He was told to keep his ass in South Carolina. He comes over to California and violates California law, and you let him walk, even though you know he's out on a $50,000 bond." Now there's a young woman dead. What have you got to say for yourself? Yeah. So we got to start paying attention, I guess, to what our politicians, every time there's an election, we got to ask our politician, where do you stand on crime? Where do you stand? Is it mean to lock a criminal in a jail? Is that mean? We've got to start asking these questions because I'm telling you right now in Houston, Texas, it's scary to drive into town. It's scary. The number of road rage incidents, the number of carjacking, the gun violence on the streets, it is the Wild West. And Lena Hidalgo and Mayor Sylvester, they're not going to lock up anyone because they don't want to spend the money that a trial cost. All right. So Diane, you're taking Plaquenil from for arthritis then. You have a brother in San Antonio? Anybody heard anything about Lena Sarwar kill lately? It's Southwest Houston, Kathy. Down like around the old Astrodome area. It is outrageous. Wake up! It's dangerous. Well, you know what? There are many people that are carrying concealed carry now. Many people. Radio silence on Lena in San Antonio. Isn't that something? I mean, it's just horrifying. It's horrifying. Nancy Drew says illegal border crossers are not jabbed because they are not citizens. They can still sue pharma. Pharma does not want to be sued, nor the government. So they fly them to other states. Wow. Plunder posted about the jewelry. Yep. Hey, Green Bean. How are you? I actually had meatloaf and green beans and mashed potatoes for dinner tonight. It was delicious. My niece works in a hospital and she got it, but she had mild symptoms. I'm I'm glad that she had I'm glad that she had mild symptoms. Yeah. Um we did get it and there were two of us that really, we got sick. We like with pneumonia and everything. Not obviously not hospital, none of that. But then we also had a couple people that had what do you call it? Asymptomatic positive. Well, great minds think alike, Green Bean. So her documents are sealed? Why the hell would they be sealed? There you go, Teresa. Oh yeah, Nancy, that was out quite a while. Yeah. The US government actually paid the researcher that was doing the studies with the virus. Yeah. But look, that I don't look at that as a conspiracy. That's just the way it is. I mean, that's just what they do. Re- il- Israel does research. Egypt has got a big research institute with the medical stuff. India's got all kinds of medical research going on, and we give money to all those people too. So it wasn't some underhanded thing where the U.S. government was trying to make a killer virus, right? It was just contributing to medical science. Or that's my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's my opinion. Sketty Nona. Sketty said after COVID, the first thing my daughter wanted when she could taste again was meatloaf and mashed potatoes. Everybody loves meat. They make jokes about meatloaf, but everybody loves it, right? Yeah, people are goofy. People are goofy. Okay. All right. Well, uh-oh, we made a vet hungry. Wake up, just woke up, said, "Oh, I need meatloaf, mashed potatoes." Yeah, so I like the hometown cooking, like my mom and dad used to make, or my grandparents. Um, I love that, which was fried chicken or meatloaf. My mom made meatloaf and mashed potatoes. It was so good, right? Just perfect. Um, and then I like bull cabbage with sausage and cornbread, of course. Um, Black-eyed peas and cornbread with boiled onion and squash. But then if I don't have that, then I like things like boiled shrimp or crab or lobster. So I've kind of got weird taste buds. I don't like beef at all, really. Um, yeah, just don't. You would probably like Houstonic Live on YouTube. He goes into the connections between the politicians, the pharmacies, and it's really interesting. I'll have to look that up. I still haven't got my taste or smell back. I miss my perfume. Maybe you need some Chanel number 5 to wake up your smelling buds. Mom used olive oil and butter for fried chicken. Ooh, that sounds delicious, Sketty Nona. Yeah, I love Chanel number 5. Yep. All right. So I did enough, raging and jumping up and down about this young woman. It's horrible what this guy did. And the really sad thing is that there's going to be more murdered by animals like him before the night's over. You know? That's the truth. We've got to do better. We got to quit being ideologues and really start looking at the individual candidate, and especially with your mayors and with your governors. We got to pin them down. We got to say, what are we going to do about the crime? Because right now you're destroying modest neighborhoods for people to live, and everybody has the right to live in a safe neighborhood. Everyone, I don't care who you are. She was an architect, Nancy. She was going to UCLA, and she was majoring in architecture, and she was working at this high end furniture store because of her interest in design and architecture. She was making great grades. She was definitely an asset to her community. It's a it's a devastating that she was robbed of her civil rights to survive and live. That matters. Yeah, don't listen to their words because they're going to say all the right words, right? You got to really look at what's been done in the past. You got to really look and see who they are. Beto O'Rourke. Here's an example. Beto O'Rourke, everybody loved. They said, okay, this is going to be the guy. He's Hispanic and he's got all these great ideas, and everybody liked him, right? Until they got to looking into his history. The truth is, his name is Robert O'Rourke, and he's part of an Irish family from Boston. He's not Hispanic at all. Coming down here and taking the name Beto Rourke and speaking Spanish, a couple of sentences of Spanish, he's trying to trick people, and it's working. No, he's not. Oh, that's amazing, Scottie Nona. That would have been my second uh interest if I hadn't decided to, do what I did in life. I'd love to have been an architect or designer. I would have really liked that. Yeah, yeah, or like our, American Indian, Elizabeth Warren. I still don't know why people didn't run her out of town on a rail when they found out she had lied about something really, like that. That was a huge lie. She basically committed fraud to get money that had been set aside for American Indians, right? Yeah. It's that was terrible what she did, but they didn't care. She was on the right team, I guess. All right. I know, Karen. I know, but let me tell you, my dad, when I graduated with my PhD, my dad looked at me at the dinner table. And he said, "Well, what are you going to do now, little doll?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Now there's nothing else to go to school for. Now you got to go to work." Right? So, yeah, I can't. I can't go. I can't. I can't. I've got forensic psychology that I'm taking right now. It's not a certificate or degree or anything, it's just class. She worked on Wall Street, so she is well connected. There's a lot of that nepotism though, Diane. They're all scratching each other's back. Yeah. So, all right. No, I actually really really like what I do. I'm blessed. I've got a I'm really lucky. Bless your heart. I heard somebody today. I got sent this clip of this person, um, and they were saying something like, "Well, she's a psychologist, and boy, what is she going to do if one of her patients comes in and is having trouble adjusting to getting old, and she wouldn't be fit to work with that person." And I just thought to myself, you should be careful what you're saying on camera because You can really make yourself look really stupid, right? And when people say things like that, I mean, the only reason she's saying that, she's trying to, undermine me with her subscribers. And I mean, they said other things that were just absurd. Something about my gout, something about cutting gout out. I don't even know. But anyway, so she's saying that, and I'm laughing, and I'm thinking, lady, what's wrong with you? You have no idea what you're talking about. You know, people go to law school, they're not all criminal lawyers. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that you can go to law school and become a lawyer and never go into a court of law? Did y'all know that? Like there's contract attorneys and tax attorneys, not criminal attorneys, right? What about engineers? You go to engineering school, you graduate, they say you're an engineer. You take your boards and you become a professional engineer, meaning you can open an engineering firm and practice independently, right? Oh, yeah. So does that mean that you just call up any engineer and say, "Hey, I want to build a building. Come help me"? Well, I would do that, but I'm a biomedical engineer. I build mechanical hearts, right? So there's all different types of engineers. Okay, well, the same holds true with psychologists. There's all kinds of psychologists. There's research psychologists that never leave the lab. There's psychologists that specialize in working with geriatric community. Aging might be a factor in the geriatric community. There are people that are rehabilitation psychologists that only work with orthopedic patients that are having to learn how to walk with a prosthetic, or maybe a neuropsychologist where all your patients have had been in car accidents and traumatic brain injury, and they're learning how to speak again. There's also psychologists that specialize in primary care, and they work in the doctor's office with the doctor on things like depression and anxiety. There are pediatric psychologists that all they do is just go and work in a pediatrician's office and work with the kids there. There's also psychologists that work strictly with trauma patients. These are people that have been diagnosed with PTSD, or they've been badly burned. The What other kinds of psychologists are there? We already said there's research psychologists. NASA has psychologists that work for them in human subjects. There's all kinds of psychologists on the planet. And the fact that these two strange little women decide that I work with every single kind of person on the planet just shows just how truly uninformed and stupid and ignorant they are. So I can tell you like what you do. It shows. Thank you, Fancy Nancy. Yeah, I do like what I do very much. Very much. My daughter is in biomedical engineering in UT Austin. That is wonderful, V. That is so wonderful. She's going to love that. It's such a great time to be in the biomedical field. There's so much coming in grant money, and it's a good field to be in. It's really great. Lady of Angels, oh no, couldn't find a job. That's sad. I didn't see what Lady of Angels said. I know an electronic engineer who makes more money driving a dump truck. All those years of college gone to waste. Ugh, that's terrible. Go take the civil service exam, and you'll have plenty of jobs. Um Oh, I would be too, V. I don't even know her, and I'm proud of her. I'm gonna brag about her. I must have a friend and her daughter at UT Austin Biomedical. But do some name dropping there, V. Okay. All right. In all honesty, politics are partisan for the most part. I mean, Trump, God damn it. Yeah. No, I don't think it's possible for somebody to be in politics and not be a liar. Yeah, I believe that. And notice I didn't say uh one person or one political party. I think I think if you go into politics, you're you know, there's a bit of narcissistic glee. So, I, I mean, you can come in and say Trump is a pathological liar. Half the people here really support Trump, and that's just as important as the half that really support Biden. So, or let's say one third voted Trump, one third voted Biden, and one third said, I'm not going to vote for anybody because neither one is a good choice. There's those people too. And I'm not going to denigrate any of them. But what I am going to say is we need to start. In fact, I said this from the beginning. We need to really start watching our mayors and our governors, right? Our judges. We really need to start vetting them, and we really need to start asking these questions. Where do you stand on this? Like, do you think it's okay when you release these people on a couple $1,000 public recognizance bond and then they move into the apartment next to me and my child? Do you think that's depriving me of my liberties? We need to ask these questions of anyone. I don't care if they're Republican or Democrat or independent. I don't care. I said we need to ask for knowledge, not look for an alphabet. Yeah, the story on Brianna is heartbreaking at best. I mean, it's terrible, terrible, devastating. I don't know how you get over it. I really don't. Yeah, so I think Trump is so flawed, but I appreciated what he did, the support that was necessary to so many. Yeah, and I think in general that's what you get, right? I think politicians are human, they're flawed. Sometimes they do make good decisions, sometimes they make bad decisions. Um, but I'm talking about specifically crime, and I'm talking about specifically getting down to your community level because like I said, this deal that's happening in Houston is shocking. It's shocking how fast all of this danger happened. Like over a few years, like over a 3-4 year time period, it went from a really safe city to being the Wild West. And it corresponds directly to the prosecutors following the judge saying, we're not going to go to trial. We're not going to, trials are too expensive and we're not going to do that. And so when all the attorneys began telling their clients, hey, just say not guilty and the judge is going to throw it out. Or the prosecutors, if the judge is full, if the jail is full, the prosecutors will not prosecute. They'll let them go. They had a guy, I think this summer, I believe it was this summer, he beat up his wife and his son. He had a gun. He was shooting. He was a felon. He wasn't supposed to have a gun. He was shooting. He was drunk. He was all messed up. They ended up getting him, taking him into jail, arrested him. He was out within 48 hours or so. And when he got out, he went home. He'd been home about 6 hours. He threatened the life of his wife with the gun. He ended up shooting and killing a police officer. And everybody in Houston was like, well, okay, now that he shot a police officer, do you think we can go to trial on this one? Can we charge this one? It's craziness. I'm not speaking political issues. Yeah, one side's not better than the other. They're both politics is a cesspool in this day and age. Hokey dokey. I just hope Morphew goes down. I hope he does too, Karen. Well, let me restate that. I need to be fair here. I believe he did it. Okay, I do. I believe he did it, and I also recognize he's a you know he's he has to be found guilty by a jury of his peers, right? And they're going to get to that. They're going to they're going to have the trial and all. Um, if he in fact did do it, then I want him to throw the book at him. If he didn't do it, then I got to be careful what I say because that means that he's being double persecuted, that he lost his wife and now his reputation is destroyed, right? So it is a very fine line that you walk until there's actual trial, right? It's a fine line you walk as a commentator on YouTube. Even in these situations like Chandler Halderson and this thing with Morphew and Lori Vallow, you still have to be very measured. But but I have an innate thing about Barry. I think that Suzanne was very lonely, and I think that he was not nice to her. You know, I think she left. I think she led a very difficult life. The last 5 years or so of her life, and I think it's sad. Oh, that's okay, Truth. You're fine. Then we need to find out who did and why is Barry trying to find his wife that he loved. Hmm. Yeah. So there's a lot of unusual things that have happened with the whole Morphew situation. Losing your lead prosecutor, that's a weird deal. That's something that does not happen very often. And and look, the lead the lead prosecutor, he made some terrible mistakes, right? You don't go to court even in a preliminary, you don't go to court and introduce the idea that Suzanne had hidden bank accounts and you didn't get a subpoena to look and see if they were being used? How is that possible? They had, our friend AK, he actually found a shirt, a light blue shirt that had some stab marks on it. I mean, it looked like whoever had been wearing it had a really bad day. He couldn't get the police to come get the damn thing. He was scared to touch it. So there's some strange stuff with the Morphew case. And you got to remember, Morphew was a wealthy guy. And this was a really small town. And so those people, with all the money at the top, that was a small little club. They all know each other. His friends are all the big business owners in that area, including the judge. So I don't know. The prosecution has asked for a change of venue, which I support fully. I'm glad it happened. They do need to get it out of Chaffee County. Absolutely. It needs to be out of there because his influence is wide. He was in the little militia that they've got. He was in the whole fire department thing. I mean, he moved there in the good old boy club is alive and well, right? And those people are going to stand up for him. They just are. Very hypocritical, Sketty. Yeah. And that brings up another point, Diane. Do you know how many women lose their lives the day before they leave? Right? It's the most dangerous time to leave the relationship, and then the 2 months following. It's the most dangerous time. You just about have to go into hiding. Keep writing letters to request change of venue. Oh, all the time, Teresa, all the time. I'm sending emails, letters. You can't do this. The population's too small. Barry was too well known. It's not going to be fair. It's not going to be fair for the prosecution. It's not going to be fair for Barry. They deliberately wasted valuable time for our country trying to take Trump down. Take care. You're always in my prayers. Be careful, Teresa. Thank you for being here. And I'm not. Oh, maybe Sketty's leaving. Are you leaving, Sketty? Crime happened in New York City with Trump. If he had nothing to hide, show your tax returns. I write state senators. Well, and I do think the federal stuff is important. It's all important. But I think that if you look at the voting patterns, more people vote in the big presidential elections than in the yearly or bi-yearly elections. And so the small elections that are more community based, I just think we could do better. I think we need to pay more attention to who it is that we're voting for, and ask them, what do you believe in, to see if their vision is what you want to live in. Whatever they're talking about, is that what you want your community to be like? It's just a question, right? And I think we need to, and I'm not preaching from a position of power either. For myself, I don't give a lot of attention. I do go vote. I vote for a lot of the smaller stuff, but I could do better. I could do better to pay attention to the community, district stuff and state stuff. I could do better. I could. And I'm really concerned about the crime stuff. It seems like in the past 3 to 5 years, it's just it's crazy what's happened. It's just crazy. I agree with that, Kathy. Um, yeah, and that's gonna be part of what the defense attorneys are doing, Yvette. They're gonna be preparing for appeal events, right, during the trial. They're gonna try to undermine any conviction that may happen. That's right, Truth. Exactly. Hey, Joan Laird, how are you? Anything is better than nothing. I write to everyone. That we have to. It's gotten crazy. You can look up their voting history. How did they vote on issues in line with your values? Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I just think whenever you hear about, and it is a huge problem in Houston, these criminals that are doing violent things and they're being let out on, $500 bond or even a signature bond. And I just think to myself, you don't have the right to do that to their neighborhood, because you're letting them back in their neighborhood where there's single mothers with kids at home. How are they going to protect themselves against some of these people? It's just a mess. The defense is very good, Karen. I absolutely correct. Yep. Voice for the voiceless. Yep. Well, anyway, that's why I love the Kenosha judge. He was always making sure the trial was fair and followed the law. They're releasing violent criminals on low bond, and you absolutely true crime curator. Yes, it's devastating. The number of shootings and road rage events are incredible right now. It's awful. Yep. All right. Well, I just wanted to bring Brianna's story up and guide y'all to the interview with her dad. Um we're not, we say that we're part of the true crime community on YouTube, but how many of us stop and think, is there something we could do to help, right? Is there, I mean, we give money to creators who go to the locations for some of these crimes and things like that. But what about the criminals themselves? If all they have to do is just refuse to say guilty, and then the prosecution says we're not going to have a trial, let them out, why would they plead guilty? We really need to stop this movement of poor old criminals. It's so unfair to lock them up. Don't you have any empathy, right? Let's start thinking about the other families that are living in the neighborhoods with these criminals. They're it's their kids that are in danger sitting in their bedroom playing video games because a bullet's going to come through the window, right? If it was going on next to your house, you'd be raising holy hell. Those people living in those neighborhoods with these criminals, they're normal people like me and you. They don't want to be there with these bad people that are out of control. They don't want to try to raise kids in these neighborhoods where the drug use is out of control. They're terrified. And at least a lot of the churches have come in and have begun to try to set up community centers, and things like that. A lot of the preachers are reaching out to some of the younger men to try to push back against the gang influence, and I don't know. It's really sad. Law enforcement's out there risking their lives to lock them up, and they'll let them go. Sketty, that is exactly what is happening in Houston right now. Right now, today. The we our police officers are getting shot at every night. They're getting shot at when they come in and try to serve a warrant during daylight hours. It's dangerous. And then they get these guys, they find them, they arrest them. They got plenty of evidence, and the prosecutors refuse. So what do you can't hold them forever. Prosecution says nope, no bill, they're out. Yep. It's terrible. Pretty terrible. And that's the situation with this young woman. Um she was at work last Thursday, the 13th. She was sitting there 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, text with a friend. Some guy just came in. I got a bad vibe. And within 15 minutes, she was dead. Dead from stabbing. He had 12 mugshots in 10 years. Violent crimes, attacking a police officer, illegal gun charges. He had no business walking the street. None. Yep. It's backwards, upside down. We're worried about the civil rights of the criminal, but the rights of good law-abiding citizens that flies right out the window. It's horrible. All right, enough of my soapbox. I've been up on my soapbox way too long. MS-13 exploded over the last year, now established in 44 states. You can see them all over the place down here, Scotty. All over the place. They're terrifying. I agree, Joan. Absolutely. Yep. And again, that was another one of those policies, right? It was another one of those policies that feel good, everybody, sunshine and roses. Mental illness is a real thing. If people can have diabetes, then chemically things can go wrong with the way you think. You got to, people don't want to admit that. And the really sad part is that we've got really good pharmaceuticals now to help people with problems like psychosis and delusional thought. There was a better way to do it than to dump them on the street, because now they live in misery and they're a danger to others. There's a better way to do all this. And we've got ourselves backed in a corner, all for a power grab. Everybody wants to be powerful. And meanwhile, the citizens are suffering. Policy from Reagan, yeah. Welcome back, Diane. We have to be influential from wherever we are. I, absolutely. Yeah, and that's why, you can't say, you should vote liberal or you should vote conservative, because people have different ideas about that stuff. But what you can do, and what's fairly easy, is find out about your local politicians and your district wide politicians, and then ask them the things that matter to you. Find out what they believe about it, and then you have knowledge. When you just go in to vote based on an alphabet, oh, well, is there a D? Is there an R? Is there an I? And that's how you're choosing to vote. Well, you're being misled, because a lot of those guys don't tell the truth about what they are. But with your local politicians, you can ask them, "Hey, I'm really worried about the number of shootings that we're having and the fact that our prosecutors and our judges are not prosecuting. Where do you stand on that? How will you vote?" That's what I'm talking about. I'm not advocating for one side or the other, because I think each individual community has their own unique issues and problems to deal with, right? And I think what one community would choose is not what another community would choose. It's all a power grab. Yeah. But getting involved, with your locals, at least that's controllable. You can at least get down and ask those questions. I don't know if you will ever again have a effective president, just because of the way the system has turned out, but we can deal with the locals, right? On our local elections here in San Antonio, they don't claim any party. They all choose to not identify by party. Kathy, I got to tell you, I like that. If they take that approach, then you're forced to listen to them, right? To find out what their belief is and what their vision is for the future, and that can really tell you a lot. That's a lot more informative than a single letter from an alphabet. And I'm going to tell you 100%. Anyone that believes in cancel culture, that's a person that has the capacity to be an abuser in a personal relationship. It is not appropriate to humiliate another person because of their ideas, because of their thoughts. That is not appropriate. You have no way of knowing if your ideas are correct. That it is your opinion, and your opinion is formed on your own experiences. But there's a lot of people out there with opinions that may not be what yours are. So So we need to get back to enjoying thoughts and ideas and stop being, let me see how bad I can hurt you. We got to quit. And I don't really know what to think about all these adults wanting to hurt other people, shame and embarrass them. I just don't understand that mentality. I mean, I know what it is. I just don't know why there's so many people. In my life, in my world, people are nice to each other, right? You want to be kind to one another. And that is not, w- the- I mean, just look how these YouTube creators behave. Um, there's some of these people, not all of them, obviously. Many people on YouTube creators are just doing their craft. But there's a group that they get into this weird power struggle, and it's a game of who can humiliate the other one more, who can punish more, call swat people or call your job and get you fired. And I just don't, there's something wrong with you if you want to call someone that you don't know them, they have no connection to you, and you start calling with the express intention of getting them fired because that will be fun. You're messed up in the head if if that's the kind of crap you do. Like, you're truly mentally ill. You need some psychiatric care. It's not normal for an adult to want to humiliate and shame another adult. That's not the norm. So I don't buy into the whole cancel culture. I don't let people uh, push people around and try to use shame and humiliation or fear. I don't. I always step in and step up for the underdog. I can't accept it. Yeah, the two-party stalemate is a disaster for the citizens. Yeah, we have cancel culture on YouTube, and the subscribers are a part of it. If the subscribers like the creator and the creator says, "Oh, we're going to do this bad thing to this other channel," then they all get on board with it without any consideration. We'll wonder if what they're saying is right. It's beats the damn saying. Like, accusing me saying something about my gout. I don't have gout. This uh, this creator, believe it or not, this creator said that I had beauty procedures done, and that I also got dentures. You believe that? This woman doesn't know me from Adam's house cat. I mean, doesn't know me at all. There's never been a conversation. She has told her entire channel that I got all my teeth pulled and that I got dentures. Does that sound particularly insane to anybody but me? Crazy things like that. Something about my gout. I don't know what I did with gout. I have no idea what that was. Um, the old crap, about Milo, which is completely, I mean, the woman, she said it, Teresa. She said it. I swear, my jaw hit the floor. I thought, what in the hell is wrong with her? Yeah, she's a nut. We have to be personally bold sometimes to push back because we can. We have this form. Um, I wondered the things that I mean, she's lying, like she's making things up. Like, one of the things she said is for people to come and listen to my channel to hear how mean that I make fun of crafters. People that like to do crafting. She told them that I make fun of crafters. I can't remember a single time that I made fun of someone doing crafts. In fact, I actually have some videos up where I made Christmas wreaths. Fruit Loops. Yes, she's Fruit Loops. Soggy, drippy Fruit Loops, I think. Yeah, or who goes live when they have COVID, right? Uh, Crazy. Yeah. Anyway, I just shook my head. I couldn't believe what she said. So her assertion was that I was that I got that I was pushing Milo, that I said every dollar's going to go to Milo. None of that happened. It's a figment in her diseased brain. Um and and then she said, and then all of a sudden she started having all of these beauty procedures, and she had all of her teeth pulled out and she got dentures, and that's where the money went. That's what this crazy woman said to her subscribers that believe every word that she says. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. That's what she said, Joe. That's what she said. I even wondered, this was before, this wasn't after hearing this clip. Somebody else sent it to me, but I read some where someone, Dorothy or one of them, they made some kind of comment that my mouth was different or my face changed or something like that. And I went and pulled YouTube videos from 2018 and put it side by side with, 2021. It, I look exactly the same. I did, Joan. I did. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. It's the uh, can't deal with it. I don't know. What do you think, Joan? What's your opinion? Yeah, yeah, I agree, Joan. Absolutely. It's highly suspect when you've got a channel, it's got 40,000 subscribers and they're pulling in 200 live viewers. And then you compare that against a channel that's got what, 15,000 subscribers and has 1,000 live viewers. Hell, my little 12,000 subscriber channel, I had 160 viewers. So explain those numbers to me mathematically, Joan. 40,000 and you can't get but 200 subscribers? Thank you, Sketty. You're very nice. Thank you. I don't think I look too bad. Oh, definitely truth. No, that is a well-known tactic. Yeah. Yep. Oh, she said something about my research team. She said something about my research team. Listen, you guys, I don't have a research team. I'm it. This is it. This is all. I don't have anybody. eh, people will like send me emails and I will send back and forth emails with people, but I don't have meetings with people from my channel. I don't That's just, when would I have time to do that? I don't even know when I'd have time to do that, much less, a team. So she's lying to her subscribers. I guess they'll keep listening to her. Trauma bonding is a powerful thing. She can't get live viewers when she's paying for all of her subs. 40,000 subs, and all she can get was 200 live viewers. That's right. I don't even know what you're talking about by an online garage sale. What is that? You're beautiful, and anybody would be lucky to look like you. Aw, Diamond, you're so sweet. Thank you. I'll send your money to you tomorrow. It is crazy town over there. I don't even know what the is it possible? Let me ask y'all. Is it possible for somebody to only watch one YouTube channel? Do they not go around to other YouTube channels? Stop crafting, start thinking. I don't know what the whole online garage sale and the I don't know what all that is. She has 2 scooters, if anyone can stand listening to both of them at the same time. That was something else they said, Joan. They she said, the video, where it was the lady that was drunk, and I said that I had found a clip of 2 scooter online, and I played the video of the drunk lady, right? And it was funny. It wasn't an ugly woman with rotten teeth, and all that. The woman's actually like in her late 30s or early 40s. She's been out drinking at the pub. It's a British woman. Her son came to pick her up on his little scooter, and they had a wreck, and she's laughing in the video, right? She's laughing because she fell off the damn scooter. And so when she stands back up, she says, "Oh my God, I hurt my knees." And then she said, "And I peed my pants." And then she stands up straight and walks away. It's a funny clip. It's not mean. It's not hurt anybody's feelings, none of that, right? And so I made a joke and I said I found a video of two scooter, and that's all it was. It was just haha because the lady was really funny lady. And this dumbass goes on her live and says that I showed a video, no, a picture. She said I showed a picture of a woman bent over at the waist to make it look like the woman was really old and broke down and couldn't stand up, and that I did that to humiliate and embarrass Two Scooter. Have y'all seen the video? Did y'all see the video? And it's got the name Two Scooter uh in the title. Watch it. At any time did I say anything about Two Scooter being old or ugly or anything? No, it was a funny damn video. That's all. She is a joyless, hateful, horrible human being. Okay, so on the online garage sale, they hold up a piece of junk they don't want. They say how much money they want for it, and they buy each other's junk. But why? Why would you want to buy somebody's junk? It was never mentioned that the chick was streaming your live, only that you were talking about Scoots, not the reason why. Yeah, and Nancy, the live was proven that Two Scooter is using intimidation tactics against Mommy Ramblin' subscribers. That if you go into another channel and you start talking, we're going to be recording you. She even says that. She even says, "Oh, they're too scared to talk." Oh, she'll get the word. She'll get the word that someone's recording. Now, why would an adult under any circumstances want to be a part of a group that was actually using those kinds of abuse tactics? Why would you want to do that? The problem is she is on for 8 or 9 hours at a time, except when she gets COVID. When she gets COVID, then she's on 24 hours a day. When she's not there, coughing and fake crying, she gets poor Jimmy to sit there, and he doesn't want to be there, because Mommy Ramblin' thinks no one can look at other channels because she controls everyone. Let me tell you, So when I listened to the clip, I thought, why is she telling these like complete lies when her subscribers will be able to just go listen to the video and say, wow, Carolyn lied. Unless the subscribers don't go listen to other videos, is all I figure. I've never made fun. Have I ever made fun of crafters and I just don't remember it? I may have fun of Carolyn because she's been, a bully since 3 years ago. See, it's complete lies. Oh, no wire hangers. See, true. God, that's a horrible movie, wasn't it? Oh my God. I don't think that woman scared me. Don't you think, Jules, that she has gone to the dark side since we watched her? I think she's lost her mind, Joan. I think she's obsessed with I think she's obsessed with the YouTube thing, and I think that anytime she I don't know if she's losing subscribers or what the deal is. I know that you can look at her views, and her views, she gets a couple of thousand views on regular videos, and when she gets all herky jerky and loses her mind and acts bizarre, then she gets, 30, 40,000 views, right? So she's gotten herself down into this hole where she's hungry for those views, I guess the money, right? She's hungry for that, but in order to generate that, she has to act ridiculous. Like holding the picture of her child and screaming and crying for hours, that it was absurd. And it's horrible in the beginning, but you know, why is it that you only talk about him when you're trying to be mad at somebody that you've picked a fight with? So it's definitely, she's different. She's very different now. It is a manifesto. Read the definition of manifesto, James. Read the definition. Tell me I'm right. Yeah, that was a horrible movie, Mommy Dearest. God almighty, horrible. So you think she's banking on that they won't take time to watch videos. Maybe. I don't know about that, Diane, but her own words, she has a spreadsheet. She said it. Yeah, the little miniature toys. Yeah, I'm using them in therapy. When I have when I have old people come in that are having a hard time adjusting to their age, we use little baby foods. I'm kidding. I don't see adults. I don't work with adults. Momo is scary, yeah. Yes, she said she has a spreadsheet. She said it. I don't know if I don't know. I heard she said that I made fun of people that do crafts. I don't know. I I can't say I didn't. It's possible I would have made fun of her with the crafting, but Bill wishes that I didn't do crafts. How many of y'all remember the jeweled curtain that I made for my daughter? I went and bought all of those glass beads and made a beaded curtain for her big window downstairs. And it is gorgeous when the light shines in through the window, you get this kaleidoscope of colors. It's absolutely breathtaking. So, and I made the Christmas wreaths, remember, with the fish on it? Um, if if I didn't, if I didn't work all the time, I'd do other kinds of things. I've done all kinds of crafts. I made all of my kids Halloween costumes, and they always won the costume contests. Cassidy's um the the first year one of, no, maybe 2 years old. Um Halloween costume, she was a hunter and she had a bow and arrow. So I got her this little dress and little hat and everything that was real tree, right? And then I took one of my husband's arrows and tied a bunch of ribbons and put glitter on it. And that made a huge a bow, and that was her bow and arrow. And she was so cute. Yeah. Oh, so the Saul Alinsky stuff, yeah, that's where the whole cancel culture, humiliation, shame, that's Saul. Yeah. Are we talking about Raging's blocks? That is a good name, Pete. That was something else she said. She said that I said for her to eat her eyeliner. I can't even imagine how that would come. I don't know what that would mean, but I'm not gonna say I didn't, because I was very angry with her. Um, you know, now I don't get angry with her. Now I just feel sorry for her. Yeah, so there's a lot of research, Truth. There's a lot of research about the health hazards of being a vampire, right? It's dangerous to be a vampire. When you become a vampire, you make yourself really sick. And I can go through a whole list of all the problems that vampires have. But what do you mean? What do I mean by vampire? Well, I'm talking about people that stay up all night long, and then when the sun begins to come up, then they go to sleep for a little while. And the reason that it's so bad for you is because of the lack of sunshine, right? There's some really, we're intimately biologically connected to the actual sun. And so restriction from the rays of the sun, both on your skin and your eyes, it has all kinds of physiological, cognitive, biological influences that are really, really dangerous. So I don't know. It is not healthy to stay awake all night and sleep all day. Um, Lots of mood problems come as a result, interestingly enough. Joan says, I figured she is finally totally flipped when I saw her bathing the doll. Did you hear her laughing? Did you hear that weird? She laughed about saying underpants. I mean, she sounded like she was, on the marijuana. You know what I mean? On the weed. Laughed and laughed and laughed. And I was like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? Oh, BBT is the one making fun of the crafting. I wondered when that was said, I thought, what? I have not made fun of anybody for crafting. That's crazy. Hey, Diamond. Oh, we're definitely, yeah, we're definitely, yeah, on the list. We made the manifesto, honey. Yeah, we're gonna be famous. I can see doing crafts, but not bathing a doll in a bathtub. I, I ugh, I'm not gonna talk about it. Yeah, I know, Joan. I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but uh, I'm not gonna talk about it. BBT will talk about it. BBT will talk about it. I don't do crafts. Too many burnt fingers. Thank you, James. Yes, thank you. Those damn hot glue guns. Yeah. Speaking of being crafty, so I went and bought some what is it? Something Benini. So designer dress shoes that they sell like at Macy's, right? So I bought these dress shoes. My daughter had, had for her, I guess it was her I think it was her junior when she was in a junior. Junior? Yeah, must have been junior. And so she saw these shoes. She said, "I really want these." I couldn't afford them. They were like $3,000. I was like, "Huh." So I went and bought these something Benini shoe from Macy's. And then I bought $300 worth of Swarovski crystals and I glued these crystals onto these shoes, right? Had the picture perfectly matched the picture. So the shoes were like a fawn color, like a nude, same color as your skin, right? And then covered them with Swarovski crystals. They were stunning. I mean stunning. They were so bright and so brilliant and beautiful that they sit out in her room as decoration, you know, because they're breathtaking. And she had a couple of friends that borrowed them. One borrowed them for something at the college, and then one of them got married in the Swarovski crystal shoes. Teresa, you think you think they're pretending. They're not pretending. She did do that. Yeah, batshit crazy is easy to see, BBT, right? The stroking, the stroking was a big indicator. Benini, some now that's gonna drive me crazy because I hate. I'm telling y'all, my memory is for shit these days. Ugh, I hate to see it go. I'll tell you that. Gianni Benini. That's what it's called. Gianni Benini. Giani, new word, Bernini. Ugh. My poor brain. Yeah, so I got the Gianni Bernini high heeled shoes in a nude, a fawn color, and covered them in these gorgeous Swarovski crystals, and they were absolutely stunning, stunning. And I joked with my husband and said I was going to get a pair of cowboy boots and cover me a pair of cowboy boots, all crystal, all Swarovski, every bit of it. But I never did it. Mostly because it would have taken probably $2,000 worth of crystal. I'm telling you, Joan, I got memory problems bad. Pictures of the shoes. I thought I put up Buried Behind Bars. Y'all didn't see Barry? Buried Behind Bars is cute. I didn't want him. Y'all know that. I tried to get rid of him. I didn't want him. But now, I kind of like waking up. I'll never ever ever again oversleep, because as soon as the sun starts up, he starts singing. And it's kind of nice to wake up to pretty little soft kind of twitters, instead of an alarm clock. I think we're developing, I think we're coming to an understanding. For the first time this year, I've started having to write myself notes. It is frustrating, isn't it, Blonde? Yeah, so I haven't noticed, it hasn't affected me um, with things like where that I do every day, right? The stuff I do every day, it's not an issue. The things that I'm having trouble with that I notice are things that, like unimportant things, like the name of those damn shoes. And I probably wouldn't even notice it, except I used to have excellent memory. Anything I knew, I would recall quickly. And those days are gone. But like, we were sitting around the table today, and one of the doctors asked me, or it didn't ask me, but said out loud, who was the guy, blah, blah, blah. And I knew exactly who he was talking about, popped that off. But then couldn't remember the name of the stupid shoes. Of course, I probably hadn't bought but maybe 2 or 3 pairs of them, but still. Exactly, Joan. You know what that's called, Joan? That's called the tip of the tongue phenomenon. That's what they really named it. Swarovski has changed to some massive crystal jewelry. I kind of love it. I would never wear it. Why wouldn't you wear it? That's one of my favorite things I like to wear, is just like leggings and a white button-up shirt, but big bracelets. Hey, Zelda, are y'all having fun? I know you are. Me too, blonde. It's all gone now. I used to play. I used to play Trivial Pursuit, and people would say, "How do you know that?" And I honestly would not know how I would know some of the stuff, but not anymore. That doesn't happen anymore. Me too, Zelda. In fact, my dissertation chair, they found a pair of glasses, and so the professor that found them said, well, they're red and they've got some like fake diamonds on them. And my dissertation chair said, listen, if it blings, I know who it belongs to. Yeah, I like sparkly, shiny things. That's one of the reasons that I like Cracker Barrel. I like to go into Cracker Barrel because they always have those water globes that the water moves and it's got the glitter in it. Damn, they've got some cute ones for Easter. If y'all can stop at a Cracker Barrel and go in and look, you'll see what I'm talking about. They're so cute. And there's one that there's a rabbit sitting there. It's like in a gold casing, and the rabbit is sitting there, and I want it so bad. I'm coveting it. It's too cute. There's another one that's got like a couple of little, maybe they're little chicks. I kind of think they're like little chickens. They're sitting in the grass with some eggs, the frame around it is not gold. It's like an old blue camper, like a baby blue Airstream camper, and it's super cute too. But I love the one with the rabbit and the gold, frame. Love, love, love. You like to eat there, Blonde? What do you get when you eat there? Like, what's your favorite meal from there? That's that's actually where I got my meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and green beans from tonight. You eat their pancake and their oatmeal. Yeah, I don't. Oh, you like chicken fried steak, mashed potato, fried okra, right? Man, I love fried okra. I do. Yeah. That's some good choices there, Blonde PT. I think we could go out to eat together. But I love to go in there and shop. They have the cutest things in there. The chicken, yeah. Well, that's where I stopped on the way home, and I got me a meatloaf, mashed potatoes, no gravy, and green beans. I thought about okra. I got to tell you, Blonde, I did think about okra, but in the end, I elected not to get the fried okra. But I did get a big old thing of green beans, and they were yummy. Yeah, so I did not go shopping when I had the COVID. I did not do that. That would be correct. I don't typically go out if I have a cough. I don't typically go out if I'm running fever. I don't typically go out if I've got a snotty nose and I'm wondering why I have a bad nose, because I don't want to make other people sick. So if I have any kind of possible symptom that would suggest COVID, I don't go around people until I get a test. You know what I mean? I don't know. Call me socially responsible or something. I wonder how they get away with the fireplace and the environmentalists haven't canceled them. Well, they may put their sights on them, if they're not careful. Do they have Cracker Barrel in California? Because isn't it against the law to have a wood burning fireplace? Yeah, they're going to do, I believe they're doing masks, and you're also able to get COVID tests, like 3 COVID tests for your family, 3 or 4 COVID tests. I know, I have to make a choice, Joan. And this time I chose to take one for the team. And I said, I don't want to go live while I sound gross and disgusting because I had a lot of crap in my throat, my chest, lots. So I didn't figure y'all would appreciate listening to me cough and I was talking like this. I was like, no, I don't think they want to listen to me. I don't think they want to. Don't think they want to hear me. Zelda said, I love okra. Those who go out and are sick or uncaring about others could cause death. Of course, it could cause death. And listen, we old people, we like to eat at Cracker Barrel. If you don't believe me, go in Cracker Barrel and look around. There's a bunch of people my age there. Okay, we like 75 years old and up. We go to Cracker Barrel. That's a rule. When you turn 75, you have to go to Cracker Barrel. So, yeah, you should not get COVID and then go to Cracker Barrel and make all of us old people sick. That's right. Oh, did you order them, Teresa? So you got 4 of them. Do you remember what the website is called? Refrigerated 18-wheelers in the back next to the body bags. Not there yet. The first week of February, Biden says the pharmacy should have N95 masks for us for free, 3 or 4, allow each. Okay, listen, with the N95 masks, it is very hard to wear an N95 mask, okay? And if you're not careful, you can pass out. So when you wear one, you got to know how to breathe in one. Take one of those government tests and put 2 or 3 drops of water on one test and see if you have COVID. Joan, you little conspiracy theorist. I love it. Must see Ginger Billy taking his friend to the Cracker Barrel. Tried okra and grits. I eat at 4:40 now. In your 50s, you need the good seeds. This is a great point. It reminds me of a senior night at Cracker Barrel, especially at 4 p.m. weekdays, except Friday, of course. That is the night dinner. Is at 3:30. How the hell do you know all that, BBT? Yeah, N95 is horrible to wear around the hospital. Yes. It's very, very difficult. Yeah. You got it. You got to know how you're breathing. How about the 10 million worth of masks left to get rained on? Took 35 seconds to order. Do you remember what the website was? I've been reading about the Amazon Amazon had some kind of program to hire drivers, right? Where they were more like it was more like a contract driver than actually an employee. And they hired so many of them, and these people they're not delivering the packages, right? We saw the big thing where that guy dropped off, looked like, what was it, 700 packages or something? But apparently that's a countrywide phenomenon, and Amazon's trying to figure out what to do because they've had so many packages go undelivered. Go to Facebook, they advertise the test 100 times a day. Yeah, Joan is exactly right. You have to go through training and you get your N95 fitted properly, right? And the training, one of the things they teach you is how to breathe so that you are getting enough oxygen. And they're just going to start handing these out to people and not telling them. It's going to be very uncomfortable. Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. Oh, that's cool, good grandma. I like that. Where did it happen, Zelda? Ooh, I bet that was hard to breathe. So. And who were the people that left the PPE out in the rain? Was it like the post office, or it was a hospital, or what was it? I wear a washable bamboo mask layer with an N95 filter. You can slide in the middle. That's a good idea, Nancy. Well, I'm still trying to find out about the destroyed PPE. It was an event center. Oh. They moved stuff outside, but it was forgotten about. Months later, it was found. Oh my God. Well, well. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Wash your hands. I'm a true believer. Yeah. Let's see. Chandler Halderson. I'm assuming you guys have been watching the trial, right? I found the cell phone GPS location, all that. I found that testimony to be really interesting. And was there something else that today that I enjoyed? I don't think so. Do y'all think that the prosecution's winding down, or that have they closed their case now? Because I did not see the end of today. I was able to watch it for a short time and then I had to leave. Did the prosecution close, or are they still going to go? They still have more witnesses for tomorrow. Do y'all know? Do we know? Do we know? Bueller, Bueller, Bueller. And don't forget Brianna Kupfer. Say her name. Keep the story alive. Please. Bueller. Bueller. Okay, I'm going to see if I can see if Chandler Halderson, if the prosecution rested today. Chandler Alderson, day 9. Oh, Madison College, Omar Job. I missed him. Yeah, there's a little bit of brilliance for you, Nancy. Let's go ahead in the hospital and put COVID patients on the same floor as non-COVID patients, right? Yeah, that's genius. A nonprofit ran the event center, said it's not going to waste. It was damaged, but that was not true. The CEO of the event center keeps making excuses. They got exposed big time. Wow, that's terrible. The defense, I just don't see that they have any argument, Joan. Um, I, I think they're just going to do. I think they're going to do the you didn't prove it. I know what it was. Andrew Smith. If you saw Andrew Smith's testimony, put a 1. Andrew Smith. And then we'll worry about Omar. Did y'all see it? Should we do it now or should I end the live and start a new live? Did they, let me ask you this, Joan. Did they play the recording between Bart and the college? No, BBT, not yet. Probably tomorrow. I should keep going. You don't think I should end this live and start over a fresh live that will only have Andrew Smith? Oh, I'm so sorry, Zelda. So sorry. Yeah, it's crazy times we're living. Once the ventilators come out, let me just say this. The ventilators cause an enormous amount of pulmonary damage. Okay. So once the ventilators start, then then that person is in a whole different ball game then at that point. Whatever's better for the algorithm. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to end this live and then I'm immediately going to come back with a new live and it's going to say Chandler Alderson testimony by Andrew Smith. Okay? Or uh, reaction to Andrew Smith. That's what it's going to say. All right. I hope you guys will come back. All right. I'll be right back. I'm going to turn it around right now.